We rapping now? We rapping? Show 'em who you really are, notorious P.I.G. Oh boy, here goes nothing.
To get all of the above in a limited amount of time, I can do this and it's done. Like that, we're on our way. Be it acid on the tongue, cocaine in your brain, or some weed that hits your lungs like a runaway train. Hell yeah, from DMT to MDMA. Got all this shit and more, so till dawn we're okay. But anyway,
Space Jam 2 is incredibly dumb. It's very commercialistic, terribly written, and overall a really bad movie. I like it. It's pretty much on par with my expectation of what a Space Jam sequel will be. It's terrible and an insult of the art of cinema, but it has basketball and Bugs Bunny in drag, so all is forgiven. Speaking of Bugs Bunny, the Looney Tunes crew were much better written in the sequel than in the original. Not a high bar to pass, honestly, and I still think Chuck Jones would have still felt insulted by Space Jam 2, but I appreciate the effort. It's a junk food movie and I had a lot of fun watching it. I'm gonna give it a "Where is Jamie Hewlett's Looney Tunes art on this movie? Release the Hewlett cut" out of 10. After watching Space Jam 2, however, I remember a certain movie from my childhood. Haven't watched it for a long time. All I can remember is one scene with aliens that traumatized my 8-year-old self and the painting chase scene I watched recently, which is better than Space Jam and Space Jam 2 combined. I decided to give it a watch again and holy fucking shit. This movie is an overhated, underappreciated, flawed, yet classic masterpiece. Looney Tunes Back in Action tells a story about Daffy Duck, who wanted to be treated with more respect because in all his films, Bugs always outwitted him. He got fired. Meanwhile, Brendan Fraser, who is a son of an iconic Hollywood spy movie actor that totally isn't referencing James Bond, nope, is living in his dad's shadow. He was rejected as a stuntman and only became a security in the Warner Bros. Studios. Somehow he met the person that fired Daffy, and somehow Daffy escaped and she wanted Brendan Fraser to catch him, and somehow Brendan Fraser destroyed a movie set with a water tower that sadly has no Warner siblings in it. He got fired. Daffy and Brendan Fraser stick together because plot, but it turns out that Brendan Fraser, okay, I'm gonna stop saying his name. His super spy actor dad is actually a super spy all along. He said he must go to Las Vegas to rescue him, so they went there. Then the girl boss got fired unless she got Daffy again, because without Daffy, the Looney Tunes short became bad, and she chased Daffy and main character Man along with Bugs, and afterwards, it's pretty much a spy movie. Yeah, it's so goddamn chaotic, and that's exactly why I loved it. It's incredibly meta, in case you couldn't tell by the plot itself. It often poked fun at movie tropes, the plot itself, or even its predecessor Space Jam.
Alright, so the question is, how can I help you reposition your brand identity? Answer, we team you up with a hot female co-star.
Usually, I play the female love interest.
There was also references for past Looney Tunes controversy like Speedy Gonzales, which I really didn't expect to pass revision considering how much Warner Bros. Screw up the productions.
At first they tell me to lose the stutter. Now they tell me I'm not funny. It's a pain in the butt being politically correct. You're telling me.
That scene is of course followed by one of my favorite jokes from the film.
What kind of performance do you call that? You made me sound like a total space cadet, man!
I'm sorry you feel that way. I was trying to be real to your character.
If you like goof on me in the sequel, I'm coming after you!
Yeah, and I'll give you a Scooby smack.
Shaggy, by the way, was voiced by Casey Kasem himself, the original Shaggy voice actor. What a really nice touch! I don't think there's any joke that missed outside of one fart joke, honestly. The movie was also more Roger Rabbit-esque than Space Jam. All the toons in here were treated like regular people with their own jobs rather than from separate cartoon dimension. Bugs and Daffy were actors, Yosemite Sam was a casino owner, Granny was Frasier's neighbor, and many more. Apparently, Joe Dante wanted more Hanna-Barbera characters to appear to make it feel more like Roger Rabbit. At one point, Powerpuff Girls even showed up in the script, but Warner Bros. Refused. The animation is just muah.
Show me chef's kiss.
Amazing. 10 out of 10. I cannot find any flaw of it. It just integrated so perfectly with the real world. It's Roger Rabbit level of amazing. I can't expect no less from animation director like Eric Goldberg. You know, animator for multiple Disney Renaissance movies and director of one of the best short in Fantasia 2000. Everything he drew and animate are just breathtaking. His magnum opus in this film is obviously the painting chase scene. Very well animated, well directed, creative, inventive, talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally
unique, completely not ever been done before, unafraid to reference or not reference, put it in a blender, shit on it, vomit on it, eat it, give birth to it.
My point is, I think Chuck Jones would have been proud of that scene alone. It is that good. Would he be proud of the entire movie? Yeah. No. I don't know, but he could have been prouder if Warner Bros. Would just leave Joe Dante alone with his vision. You see, this movie was hell to produce. At first, Joe Dante's original vision was Termite Terrace, a comedy film about the animators division at Warner Bros. Based on the life of Chuck Jones and, well, Termite Terrace themselves. But Warner Bros. Was like, we don't want this boring ass shit, give me more Space Jam instead. Joe Dante was like, okay, fine, I will make you Space Jam, but better, because none of you understand these fucking characters. One of the reasons why he agreed to make Back in Action is that he wanted for it to be a tribute for his friend Chuck Jones, who recently passed away at the time. Chuck Jones was not happy at all with Space Jam, as I mentioned before, so he wanted to make sure the characters were presented in a classic tradition this time. He thought he succeeded on that part, but it's not an easy process at all because Warner Bros. Keeps sabotaging the movie's writing process. At one point, the studio executives brought 25 gag writers because they absolutely hated the jokes. The script also changed so much that it had a different beginning, middle, and end part from what Dante envisioned. Long story short, there was no freedom in making Back in Action. Executives kept pretending that they knew Looney Tunes better than Chuck Jones' trusted friend, and it resulted in a box office bomb that caused Warner Bros. To stop making animated movies until the Lego Movie. They also cancelled all Looney Tunes theatrical projects up until Space Jam 2 because nostalgia sells. Without Warner Bros. Interference, Joe Dante could have made a complete masterpiece. A movie that is on par with Who Framed Roger Rabbit, possibly. In my opinion, we still got a masterpiece in the end. A flawed one, sadly. It relies on 2000s movie tropes and the world building could have been much better, but I admire that after all these restrictions from Warner Bros., Joe Dante and Eric Goldberg still made the best Looney Tunes characterization post-Golden Age era. I still think Space Jam 2 treated the characters better than Space Jam, but here's a funny excerpt of one of Joe Dante's interview. Quote, I was making a movie for them with those characters, Looney Tunes Back in Action, and they did not want to know about those characters. They didn't want to know why Bugs Bunny should do hip-hop. It was a pretty grim experience all around. Unquote. Yeah. So, moral of the story, companies need to stop intervening artists' vision. They need to realize that they have no experience in filmmaking outside of giving budget and pleasing investors. Also, Marvin the Martian is the best Looney Tunes.
It's my laser, so don't take me for granted. I'm a Martian. Boom shakalaka. I'm a Martian. Shakalaka. Boom.